Hey guys, Ron here, and it's finally time to start a series in which I make the Pokemon that inhabit my own personal region. I've obviously been thinking about making such a video for years, even a decade, but the more I learn about Pokemon and its production, the more daunting this task seems to be. The first Pokemon in any Pokedex are the starters, except for Unova. Victini just loves embarrassing me. But starter Pokemon are the mons that Game Freak puts their heart and soul into creating because, well, they're the most marketable. But they usually also tie into the theme of the region, while also having some kind of theme of their own. Their designs have to fall in line with each other, and they have to believably look like starters instead of some random Pokemon. So in order to create my own starter Pokemon, I had to analyze the themes that grass, fire, and water type partner Pokemon represent, the proportions and design elements that starters should and shouldn't incorporate, and at the end of the day, make sure that they're lovable and appealing. In this video, we'll be designing the first stage starters. In the next video, we'll do the middle stage starters, and the third video will showcase the fully realized final evolutions. Let's begin! So like I said, first we have to decide what the theme of the region and the starters are going to be. I'm not fully ready to talk about the plot or themes of my region in general, but keep in mind that it won't be based on a specific culture or country like most regions. My region is fragmented into like different locations and people with different ideals, cultures, and lives who live in completely different environments. Some themes that the region touches upon are extremes, balance, and tradition, but the themes that do translate into my starters are danger, fear, ignorance, and intelligence, and leadership and responsibility that is needed to guide us through these kind of situations. In my region, the protagonist has to become a very strong, leading Pokemon trainer in order to guide the rest of the region into making some sort of change. And that's why the final evolutions of my starters are going to be intelligent Pokemon who help the world, humanity, and the environment. Their final evolutions are going to be worshipped or feared, but don't worry, they won't be literal gods or over-designed. So how about we start with the grass starter? Now, the animal that I picked is going to be an elephant. My favorite animals are elephants, and my favorite color is, well, yeah. But also elements are intelligent, which fits in with the theme. I'm not gonna spoil the final evolution in this video. That's the fun. I want you to watch the growth. But I will say that the final evolution will coincide with the running themes of their type. So since all grass type starters are based on some kind of ancient or primal animal, my elephant Pokemon will have some mastodon or mammoth-like elements, but he's a pure elephant in his pre-evolved form. This line will be roaming gardeners who plant seeds wherever they go. They do wonders for the ecosystem that they chance upon, just like real-world elephants. So I'm gonna give our little elephant some garden on its back, as well as a water hose kind of element with its trunk, water hose and watering can. And I'll also throw in the elements that indicate its type when evolving, but those will be a secret. All three starters will eventually be based on gods, so this line will have some kind of elements with Ganesha from Hinduism, as well as the world elephants that are, on top of the world turtle. I studied starters enough to know that they're made of basic shapes, so this boy will be very round. It's pretty much an elephant. It's very straightforward, just like all starters, except for Mudkip and Cyndaquil. Finding the right pose for its legs will be hard though, and don't worry, they won't be this long in the final design. Now that we have the base animal, let's blend it in with the elements. I want its back to have moss on it and give it a signature head leaf or sprout that some grass starters have. It will grow some berries and seeds on its back, but I don't want it to be complicated or else it won't look like a basic staged Pokemon, so 2 dots will do. One will be on the forehead as a reference to both Bindis and Tilakas from Indian culture, but this boy will be both an Indian and African elephant. This is the beta design, so let's make a version that has proportions that is way closer to a starter, so a much bigger head and a better pose. We have the line art, so now it's time to color it in. His colors were the easiest of all 3 starters I made. It does become dual typed, but I won't spoil the evolution. I will slightly adjust the colors once I have all 3 present, so that they have the same values and hues. Here is our first child, Elephant, the moss elephant Pokemon. Elephant are always happy to help. They use the tiny seeds that grow on their back and heads to plant gardens. Their strong memory allows them to remember where any sprout is growing. They can hold up to 4 gallons of water in their trunk and use it to water the plants that they carefully cultivate. They're clumsy but incredibly resilient. It's rare to see an elephant cry for more than a few seconds. Their skin is tough and hard, but their top halves are cushioned with a layer of soft moss and foliage. They're very loving but can get carried away with their affection. They're the heaviest and most massive starter Pokemon. Its ability is Overgrow just like all grass-type starters, but I won't reveal its hidden ability or stats until the final video, cause they would spoil the direction these Pokemon are going. But here's the shiny. It was actually the color palette I originally wanted to give it, but the final ones look way more appropriate for a starter. A lot of other people with elephant starters make the elephant a little too vague. Either the ears and trunk are too small, or the head is too humanoid. I purposely wanted to make this elephant Pokemon feel like an African elephant. Its ears are big and its size is larger than the average grass starter, but I am 100% confident that it looks basic enough to have 2 more stages, and childlike enough to be a starter Pokemon. This would honestly be my favorite Pokemon if it existed. I would kill for a figure of Elephant. Let's move on to the fire starter. The animal I picked is cow. Now I wanted the Pokemon that I picked to be famously intelligent animals, like the grass and water starter that I made, so I was thinking about making the fire starter an African gray parrot Pokemon, but it would look too much like Talonflame. There's already a fire chimp, and there's already multiple crow Pokemon, but the other problem that I have was that I needed to pick an animal that was part of the Chinese zodiac. You see, fans have this theory that the fire type starters are based on animals on the Chinese zodiac, and while I don't believe it, since some are loosely based, like Cyndaquil isn't really a rat and Fennekin isn't a dog, but I'll indulge you guys, so I picked a cow. They're not traditionally intelligent animals, but they are emotionally intelligent. Their interactions with humans are well understood, and another theme these starters have is helping some kind of ecosystem thrive. The grass starter helps develop the wild environment and is untouched by humans, and the water starter will help take care of the ocean, while the fire starter will help develop humanity and its society. And by that I mean farms. This cow will be worshipped as a god of fertility. They use their fire powers to create solar energy that makes plants grow quick and fast even during the dead of night or the cold winters. They will have some inspiration from Highland cattles, but are mainly inspired by various cow gods like Apis and his mother Hathor, an Egyptian goddess of fertility by the way, Aditi, the Hindu goddess of fertility as well, that is often represented by a cow, and the worshipped red heifer in Hebrew mythology, also the golden calf if you think about it too. I want to make this family look pure and holy. The prototype is going to be pretty rough, but it definitely gives me the idea. I don't want it to be short and stubby, I want its legs to be long and eyes to be big, but let's make the proportions way better, and now that we have the base animal, let's add some more fur that is reminiscent of a flame pattern. But while this is the end of the sketch portion, I will adjust the proportions of this Pokemon many times throughout the next phase. When it comes to color, this dude went through a lot. I wanted to make it look fiery, but its colors are way too similar to Growlithe's colors, especially with that flame-like tuft of hair on the top. Its eye color goes through a lot of iterations too. I finally decided to make its mouth dark and give it more patterns on the face, but off screen I did change it up a bit. At this point it looks like a second stage starter, so I changed the proportions and color to make it look way smaller and gave it sweeter eyes instead of eyes that were too similar to Elephant. I even made it redder in the final design. Here is Smokecalf, the calf Pokemon. Gotta thank Dark and Windy for these names by the way. Smokecalf is very modest and bashful. It doesn't like sticking out too much, but encouragement from those around it helps build its confidence. It's very sweet, but will use its mastery of fire to great use when necessary. It is very diligent when it comes to practicing with its fire. In fact, its hair and tail light up for a second whenever attacking. It's constantly looked after, and in ancient times they were cultivated to prepare them for proper evolution. Considering Smokecalf were worshipped in ancient times, modern Smokecalf still have a refined taste in food and will roast anything before eating it. Most cow starters that fans have made are short and stubby, but I wanted to purposely make this Pokemon have relatively long legs compared to other starters. Cause first, calves, like most ungulate babies, have long, fragile looking legs. It's super cute, and this Pokemon is supposed to be above others, both figuratively and literally. This is the tallest starter Pokemon, but that's cause it has long legs. I struggled with the proportions of this Pokemon the most. But yeah, this was the toughest Pokemon to design, both when sketching and in coloring. Its shiny is just a rarer version, nothing else would fit. Let me know what type you think Smokecalf and the other starters will become. Finally, it's time for the water type starter, and I have a feeling it's going to be a fan favorite. The Pokemon will be a dolphin. It was always going to be one, and it's the go-to animal for fan-made water starters. We don't have a dolphin Pokemon, and water type starters are always semi-aquatic or, aquatic animals that aren't fish, something that breathes air. But most importantly, dolphins fit in with the theme of intelligence, human connection, and guidance. This one will have the most loose inspirations though. It's not based on any specific god or even a specific dolphin. The family will mostly be bottlenose dolphins, but have various elements from other types of dolphins. And I will be looking at the dolphins from Greek mythology as an influence. They were considered sacred and even helpers of the gods like Poseidon. But there are many accounts of humans butting heads with dolphins in various myths and in real life, obviously. The fact that dolphins are both worshipped and inhumanely hunted by humans will be a big part of this Pokemon's theme. To be fair, that will be the theme of all three starters. Their relationship with humans is not going to be completely healthy, and how they deal with that will determine the direction each starter family will go. But at its base level, the water dolphin we're going to make is very happy, so let's go. So I straight up just made a realistic dolphin at first, and a terribly drawn one at that, but it still helped me understand what would and wouldn't translate into a Pokemon. I realized that the body was working as a tube. It was very simple, which is good for a starter. It's a pretty good prototype, but let me just redo it with better proportions. The patterns needed to be there in preparation for the awesome patterns its evolved forms would have. Patterns that looked like waves really helped the theme of this Pokemon, and really work with the future evolutions. I know I wanted it to be light and almost white to contrast with the dark body of Elephant. Originally, I did want to incorporate yellow, like the Greek mythological dolphins, and even some species of dolphins have that too, but it didn't flow with the rest of the colors, so I took it out. But eventually its family will have some yellow, just not this little guy. Say hello to Dolflo, the wave Pokemon. Dolflo is an extremely social Pokemon. It will use its sonar abilities to find other Pokemon to befriend. It can release powerful waves of both water and sound, and can communicate with its kind over long distances. They're very naive and trusting, but don't be fooled. They're extremely intelligent. While they constantly hope that everyone they meet is as innocent as they are never tricked twice. They are very curious and inquisitive, but that oftentimes gets them into trouble with humans. But regardless, they will always save a human that is in any sort of danger at sea. Honestly, this Pokemon's design is the most starter looking. It fits so well and can easily be appealing to any fan. Like, what's offensive about this? I hope you guys like my 3 children. I will cherish them forever. Of course, don't get too attached, cause I'm sure their evolutions can't live up to your wildest dreams. But make sure to share this video with everybody, and leave a like if you enjoyed so I can start making part 2. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and check the description for the music I used, t-shirts I made for you guys, my Patreon, or click the join button to become a member and get awesome rewards like seeing my videos days early, Pokemon icons near your comments, discount on merch, access to our Discord, etc. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys very soon.